Welcome to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman, the podcast dedicated to helping you build the business of your dreams and live the life you always hoped for, with valuable and fun tips and info to make your life easier and more fun. And now, here's your host, a man who sprinkles metal shavings on his breakfast cereal just for fun, Jason Silverman.
Hello everybody and welcome to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. I'm your host Jason Silverman and I'm thrilled to share some time with you once again today. As you know, I am always on the hunt for interesting as well as super smart Real Deal guests, and I gotta tell you, today's show is a winner. I want to introduce my listeners to somebody who's truly been there and done that, and I can't wait to pick her brain for your benefit today. Now, for the folks who I work with in any of my coaching programs, my mastermind group, or through Powerful Words Character Development or All-Star Cheer sites, you know how much I focus on the importance of being able to attract, keep, and most importantly, work with the very best employees, right? Well, the show is going to help us do just that. So, today it's going to be my honor and privilege to share an amazing resource with you. You're going to love today's guest. She's got a ton of valuable info and a great way to deliver it. So I want you to strap yourself in. Today's show is going to be a blast. As I'm sure you already know, I'm committed to helping business owners just like you to become more successful, enjoy your career more, and in general, make your life significantly more fun. Because as you know, we only get one ride around this merry-go-round, and we want to make sure it is one hell of a ride. Alrighty, boys and girls, it is now that time. I want you to stop surfing Facebook, put away your phone, your tablet, your dog, your cat, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your spouse, your child, anything that might possibly distract you from today's show. You're about to get some great and immediately implementable information, and I don't want you to miss even a second of it. So, before we officially get going, I want to give you a little bit of background about our guest today. Lee Caraher is the author of Millenials and Management, the essential guide to making it work at work. She's an entrepreneur and CEO with over 20 years experience building great, high-producing, intergenerational work teams that get a lot done well and have fun at the same time. An acclaimed communication strategist known for her practical solutions to big problems, Lee founded Double Forte in 2002 to work with good people doing great work for good companies. Her clients span well-loved brands and hot technology startups in the San Francisco Bay Area, Boston, New York, and Europe. Lee is most certainly the real deal. Lee, welcome to The Real Deal. I'm thrilled to have you today.
It is so great to be here, Jason. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Hey, listen, before we get started, for those who haven't had the opportunity to meet you or read your book yet, which you absolutely should, tell me, what are you passionate about? What makes you tick? Who is Lee Caraher?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I have actually done a lot of work on this because I think, as business owners, you always have to be looking at yourself, to make sure you're aligned with your own self, right? And my whole gig is helping people get where they want to go in life. And my business, which is a public relations and social media firm, is all about that, helping clients get what they want, where they want to go. And in my personal business, which is where the book came out of, it's all about that. How can we be the best leaders, business owners, people in our lives? How can we achieve what we want to achieve? So that's what I'm all about.
I love it. The topic that we're going to talk about today is something that is near and dear to my heart, probably because I get this question about 10 to 300 times per day from my clients. I want to jump into it because I'm going to need some of this intel for myself. So first off, how do you define and what are the characteristics of a millennial?
Got it. So first, the millennial is really just an age, right? It's defined by the census. The United States government, and it's an age. So it's people who were born between 1980 and the year 2000. So this year, 2015, they're between 15 years old and 35 years old. So a lot of millennials say, I'm not a millennial, don't call me a millennial, that's just terrible. And in the end, it's really just an age. So you can call yourself Gen Y, or you can call yourself millennial, but, just like I'm a boomer, I'm a last year boomer, I can't get out of the fact that I'm a boomer. That was when I was born. Other than that.
Understood. Okay, so that actually makes sense. Talk to me about the characteristics, though.
Yeah. Well, I think millennials get a really bad rap. If you Googled it today, you'd find over 2 million negative entries about working with millennials. 2 million negative entries, and the positive entries are far and few between. And really, what the characteristics that they get pinged with are sort of these: 1, that they're entitled; 2, that they expect rewards and trophies for showing up to work; 3, that they're job hoppers; 4, that they can't get anything done. Those kinds of negative things, right? And I definitely subscribed to those when I figured out what a millennial was. Right? I actually didn't know what it was until I was having a problem at work. I started Googling it. I'm like, oh, it's a millennial. Who knew? And the problem with those negative stereotypes is that they really brand an entire generation in negativity. And there's just no possible way that 80 million people are those things altogether, right? It's just, statistically impossible.
Right.
So, in my own work, when I was trying to figure out how to work with millennials, I sort of took these 6 or 7 or 8, different stereotypes, and I really wanted to test, throw them against the wall and see if they stuck or not. Because, a business without a millennial is a business without a future, right? And if you don't want your business to die with you, you sort of have to, have people behind you who are going to take it over or, keep it relevant. And I just can't wake up every day and go to work with people I'm just, upset to be with, right? So, because I would just, oh my God, I mean, it's already hard enough to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner, but if you're dreading the people you work with, that just puts a whole other set of ton of bricks on your shoulders that you just don't need. And my whole quest was to really understand why these stereotypes were popping up and were they deserved or not, and to understand them more so then we could turn it around and make it more positive. So that's sort of was my purpose in writing my book, was to find the positive in the generation, because there has to be one, right? Just like people if you're a Gen Xer, which are 36 to 50 years old this year, if you ask a Gen Xer who's more entitled, a boomer who's 51 to 68 or a millennial, most of them would say boomers. So, we've got to put it all in perspective.
That makes sense. Do me a favor, talk about your struggle with hiring of millennials, though.
Oh my goodness. Well, actually, it's not hard to hire them. It's hard to keep them, right? So, I'll tell you when I started my company in 2002, I only hired people with 10 years of experience. And it was really easy to do in San Francisco. You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting 10 or 15 people who had at least 10 years of experience in that, after the dot-com bubble burst here in the Bay Area. And then in 2008, when the market imploded again, right? It's always a good thing. You always have to look at your business model when the market changes. Is your business model still relevant? Because the economy doesn't return in the way that, it doesn't recover to the place it was, ever. It's never recovered to the place it was in the same conditions. So when in 2008 I looked at my business model, and I realized I was going to run out of people to hire at the lower end of our range, because no one in the San Francisco area got hired between 2000 and 2004, basically. And so we were one of those, those people with 10 years of experience. We were going to run out of them. And also they were expensive. I was paying them a lot of money, because they had all this experience. So we changed our business model to hire, newly minted college graduates. And I didn't really think of anything of it. We had to put some extra training in, things we hadn't had to have before. But I really thought nothing of it, until we hired our first one. And her first day, I came in a little late that day. I was in a meeting. I came in the office, and there was a dog. I was like, what's this dog doing here? And not only was there a dog, but there was a water dispenser and a kibble dispenser and the biggest dog bed you've ever seen. And this dog, I said, what's the dog? Well, Lee, it's a service dog. That is a Chihuahua. That is not a service dog. And the dog truly was a service dog, legally a service dog, had the red vest, had all the paperwork. And I said, did she even tell us she was bringing a dog? No. Did she ask if she could bring the dog? No. is anybody allergic to dogs? You probably should know that, right? And you can't ask a service dog to leave. It's against the law. So I sort of like, oh my gosh, what the heck just happened? Like, why wouldn't you ask, right? So I called a friend of mine who also runs an agency in town, and I said, this just happened. Like, what? And he was, oh my gosh, Lee, you are in for it. These millennials, they're just terrible. And I was like, what's a millennial? So didn't know. The next thing that happened, I had 9 service dogs within about like a month and a half because she ran the side business getting all these dogs servicized for my employees. But it became very clear because she is fantastic, great ideas. I didn't know what to do with all of her ideas. I had no clue what to do with all of her great ideas. Now I know what to do with them, but I didn't. I'm like, here's another idea, here's another idea, here's another idea. How about this? How about that? How about this? I'm like, oh my gosh, here's my chair, please take it. Then it didn't really occur to me that anything was funky, so maybe she was just a little different. Well, then it took a while for our business to recover after 2008. So she was first, and then about 8 or 9 months later, I hired 6 millennials within about 2 months of each other, and 6 of them failed. All 6 failed, 100% failure within 3 months. And I had never had 100% failure in my career in recruiting ever. In my previous job, I'd been known for recruiting really, really well. I had 700 people on my team. No one ever left. I mean, I was known for this. So to have 6 people fail within 3 months was really shocking to me. I mean, one person could be that person's fault, but 6 could not. That had to be systemic to our business, to the way we were doing it. And it is true, they did not measure up to our expectations at all. At the same time, we did not. When they peeled the onion on it, we totally set them up to fail based on their own experiences. So it's easy to find millennials. It's hard to keep them because those of us who are a little older or who have businesses or have responsibilities that are pretty heavy and bringing home the bacon, we may not be as transparent and sharing of the information that this generation really demands in order for them to buy into your business. So it's sort of to keep them in, to get them invested in your business and their business, takes a whole different set of expectations and a whole different set of processes than the ones that you and I grew up with.
No doubt. Would you say that there's actually a secret to working with a different generation? I mean, I have my own hypothesis on this, but if so, what is it for working with millennials?
Well, I think good management is good management, right? And when I talk to people who, like, what's the secret? The secret is to be transparent. Well, Lee, that's just good management. Like, exactly. Anything you do that keeps a millennial in the office or in your business will also keep a Gen Xer and a Boomer in your business. The reverse is not necessarily true. Boomers and Xers will stick around with different management styles, where millennials will not. But if you can keep millennials, you make it better for everybody, and everybody sticks. And I think that those things that are really important are, one, context. Why, you used to be, do it because I said so. That does not work with this group. So, the first way to get someone out the door is to say, do it because I said so. Truly. The next thing, so the context. Why is this important? Why is this part of my job? All that kind of stuff. So that they can understand that even though they may be pushed to the room, that it is as vital to the business as someone who's running payroll. Right? Why is that so important? And then the next piece is understanding the roles. So I have a role, you have a role. We're each dependent on each other. A lot of the time, I think millennials get dinged for being a me generation. And that is really not my experience at all. When I dug into it, I really feel like millennials are more of a we generation. And what that means practically is we're going to work together. We're all working on a team. I have a role, you have a role. If one of the roles doesn't happen, the other one fails. And the fastest way to get an eye roll from a millennial is to say, you didn't do a good job. You didn't live up to your potential. well, that person could care less what I think about their potential. But if I say, you didn't do a good job, you let the team down, and now we're not going to achieve our goal, that is you get the person with the blubbering lip, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'll make it up to you. And if you can make people understand their impact on each other, then in general, this cohort really responds well to that. But it requires a lot of knowledge and understanding of each person's role and how they impact each other.
That makes a lot of sense. That's actually fabulous. Folks, it is time for our resource of the week. So, Lee, let me ask you this. How can our listeners find out more about you and how you help entrepreneurs to succeed?
You can go to my website, www.leecaraher.com. And if you go to leecaraher.com/The Real Deal, I will have some resources for you based on our conversation today that you can download and take into your business.
Fabulous. So, guys, that's leecaraher.com/The Real Deal. I highly encourage you to do it. Now, also, where can they grab a hold of your book?
So my book is available on Amazon. It's in stores. It's in Barnes & Noble. You can get it online or in stores all around the country.
Fabulous. Folks, as you know, I believe that you should be eating as many books as humanly possible, feeding your brain and getting yourself out there. All right, Lee, one final question for you that I love to end my podcast with is, if you could give business owners just one solid piece of advice to either help their business or, more importantly, to help them live a better life, what would that piece of advice be?
I think that the biggest important thing to live a life that has a business in it is to get really clear about what conditions you'll work in, and more importantly, what conditions you won't. Because if you undervalue yourself by working in conditions that you don't think are don't deserve your respect, then it just becomes a grudge. But if you can line up your business around those things that you value the most, then even if it's a tough day, it's a good day.
Wow, I love that. I love that on every
Thank
level.
You.
Lee, this has been spectacular. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know how busy your schedule is, and I appreciate you taking the time to share some of your wisdom and experience with us.
It has been such a pleasure, Jason. I appreciate you inviting me.
Absolutely. Folks, that is all the time we've got today. Thanks so much for tuning into The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. For more info about private coaching or to see if you benefit from one of our mastermind groups, visit me over at www.jasonmsilverman.com. I look forward to helping you achieve the success that you truly deserve. Until next time, let me leave you with this. Get out there and be the real deal. Set a goal, make a plan, work like hell towards it, and achieve the success that's waiting for you. Now's the time. Get out there and make it happen. Go get 'em. This has been Jason Silverman, and I hope you have a spectacular week.
You've been listening to The Real Deal with Jason Silverman. To access the great resources mentioned in the show and for information on coaching and mastermind group opportunities with Jason, please visit jasonmsilverman.com.